4 years. I carried a label that was never mine to begin with. Loser, it was spoken casually, laughed about openly, and accepted far too easily by people who thought they had my entire future figured out before it even began. But what they didn't realize was that being underestimated has a strange kind of power. When no one expects anything from you, you're free to become anything. Every sideways glance and whispered joke became quiet motivation, not to prove them wrong, but to prove myself right. I learned early that confidence doesn't always speak loudly, and growth doesn't always ask for permission. While others were busy defining me, I was busy discovering myself, step by step, failure by failure. Being underestimated didn't shrink MIT, gave me room to grow without limits. While the jokes were loud and the assumptions obvious, the real work was happening quietly, far from the spotlight. Growth doesn't always announce itself, and struggle rarely asks for an audience. There were nights filled with doubt, mornings fueled by determination, and countless moments when quitting would have been easier than continuing. No applause followed the small wins. No one noticed the setbacks that nearly broke me. And that was okay. Because the most important progress often happens when no one is watching. I learned patience in those unseen moments and strength in carrying my dreams alone. Every obstacle became a lesson, every failure a private teacher. The silence wasn't empty, it was preparing me. By the time the world was ready to see the result, the work had already been done. There were moments when I imagined how satisfying it might feel to come back with sharp words or visible triumph, to let success speak as a form of revenge. But somewhere along the way, I realized that resentment is a heavy thing to carry, and I had already carried enough. Rising didn't require bitterness, it required grace. I chose not to let old mockery shape my character or harden my heart. Instead of replaying past insults, I focused on becoming someone I could respect. Letting go wasn't weakness, it was freedom. The truth is, success feels hollow when it's driven by anger, but deeply fulfilling when it's rooted in self-worth. I didn't rise to embarrass anyone. I rose because I deserved better, and I refused to let the past decide who I would become. For a long time, success was presented to me as a narrow finish line: grades, popularity, approval, and timelines set by others. If you didn't reach it the right way or at the right time, you were written off. But life has a way of teaching you that real success isn't a single moment or a public trophy. It's waking up proud of who you're becoming. It's choosing growth over comfort and integrity over applause. Some people peak early and stop climbing. Others take longer but build something that lasts. I learned that success can look like resilience, self-respect, and the courage to keep going when no one is cheering. Once I stopped chasing their definition, I finally found my own, and that changed everything. When I arrived that day, it wasn't the sound of the blades or the eyes turning in disbelief that mattered most. It was the quiet realization of how far I had come. That moment wasn't planned for shock or spectacle. It was simply the natural result of years of persistence, discipline, and believing in myself when it would have been easier not to. The helicopter wasn't proof of wealth. It was proof of endurance. It represented every late night, every risk taken, and every doubt overcome. In that instant, the past lost its power. The labels, the laughter, the assumptions, all of it faded against the reality of growth. not because I had arrived dramatically, but because I had arrived fully as myself, unashamed and unapologetic. To those who once laughed, this isn't a moment of accusation, but an invitation to reflect. Words spoken casually can linger longer than we realize, shaping confidence, choices, and courage in ways we may never see. And to those who have ever been on the receiving end of those words, I want you to hear this clearly. Your story is still unfolding. You are not late, you are not behind, and you are not defined by someone else's narrow view of you. Everyone is fighting battles we don't see, growing in ways that don't always look impressive at first glance. Empathy costs nothing, but it can change everything. Believe in yourself even when no one else does. And be gentle with others. You never know who is quietly becoming extraordinary. Always remember, today's overlooked dreamer may be tomorrow's inspiration.